Let me introduce to you my guests in the coffee chat. And we have none other than ENCA's political editor, Bravi. Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
You see that? He's trying to intimidate me. I don't know why. Nandi, you're going to help me out here.
I'm here for you, don't worry. I've got your back.
Thanks, Nandi. All right. Let's get on with the business of the coffee chat, starting with what is contained on the front page of the Mercury, Bravi. Load shedding blamed for South Africa's negative growth. The economy is so slow that people are getting poorer and unemployment is soaring. That's according to the number of economists that they've interviewed in this article.
And that's news, and that's surprising.
Listen, using the words, wait, using the words surprising. I couldn't stop myself laughing at the president yesterday because he simply cannot get himself away from using the words shocked and surprised. Although this time around, he used them in a different context, or in a context that was much more acceptable, that we shouldn't be surprised.
What was disturbing, though, about the way the president, put these things when he was speaking to editors and journalists yesterday, was the fact that he's still not sure about whatever action his government is going to take may actually yield. Let's take, for example, the issue of the wage bill. Yeah. The government should know by now, should have done its sums, and should know that if we take so much from this area, we will be able to save or generate this much. Yeah. If we take this option, these are the consequences of, these will be the consequences of that decision. The whole thing about we should consider, we should think about, we have an option to, is not taking anybody anywhere. We've been doing that for years now.
Nandi, looking at exactly what Vuyo is saying, I want to take us back to that front page of the Mercury, because one of the economists is quoted there. It's David Ruitt from Efficient Group. He says that, you see, the worst thing about our economic situation right now is that politicians, and I'm quoting him now, politicians think they have a grip on it all, but there is nothing tangible from the presidency, which means, it's still him, which then means there is no political leadership. Is it being too harsh on the president?
I don't think he is being harsh at all. I think it's just going on what Vuyo is also saying, where politicians are just right now stating the obvious, And even to say that load shedding is to blame for us being in a recession, yes, we know that. This was expected. We know load shedding is to blame. We know that all the other issues that are happening right now, the unemployment rate, all of that, we know that they are to blame. We need solutions now, because this is the second recession in the space of just over 2 years. So clearly, even if we do come out of it, there's a chance that we're going to go back into it. So what do we do to avoid it happening on a long-term basis? So I don't think David Ruitt has been too harsh at all. I think it's just really stating the facts here. We know what the problem is. Like we even discussed this yesterday, where we were talking about how we need to move from a situation where the president continues to say, this is happening, this is a problem, this isn't good. Sure. It's about what are we going to do about it now.
We need to move away from
it would actually be incredibly naive to say that, or to hold the government solely responsible for the problems that we have. But the fact of the matter is that there is nothing to demonstrate that the government has done its best. How does the president, by his own admission, say that, we know that one big part of the problem is uncertainty? What has he done,
to provide certainty?
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, there is another economist that's quoted here, Neil Roots, who says that there's no doubt that Moody's will cut our sovereign debt rating to junk status in a few weeks' time. I want us and those comments, keep those comments in mind, and let's move to the front page of the Business Day, where the headline says, recession highlights the need for reforms. And I think that's the president that was being quoted there.
But how many times have we heard Tito Mboweni saying we need reforms?
It's the same thing over and over again.
Guys, but what you don't seem to realize is that the president is working with an alliance governance, or a governing alliance. That's how it's actually framed, or it's used. He's working with a governing alliance that has a stranglehold on him. Right now, you were just talking about the labour, the public sector wage bill. COSATU is up in arms. How in the world does he navigate these choppy waters without upsetting those groupings?
If only, maybe a place to start is having certainty about what you want to do. Right now, everyone is acting on rumor and reports. The unions are saying, if indeed this is the consideration, we'll object to that for this, that, and the other reason. Have they been engaged? One, is that even true? Is that what the government is considering?
About whether they
is
are
considering to do? And
because
why are they allowing people, or if it's rumor, or lies, why are they allowing it to continue? One can only make one deduction, that indeed that's what they're considering doing. And if so, have they engaged? How do you walk into a meeting of the country's biggest labor federations just to say hi, when you walk out again and no one is sure about what it is that you want to say to them? At this late stage, with everything going on, it should be business. Like, you go in there, you say, guys, these are the options, these are the implications for each option. What do you think? Let's sit around the table and right now, none of that has actually happened.
Do you know what's messy for me here? Nandi, what was telling was the finance minister in Parliament when he appeared before MPs and they were grilling him just on his budget. And he said, no, it's not true that we're not in negotiations with the unions about reviewing this 3-year agreement. Conversations have been had. Conversations are different from negotiations.
Very, very different.
Listen, even those conversations, speak to COSATU, speak to SAFTU, they'll tell you, but where are those conversations taking place? Where? Which building, which street, at what time, was present, where are these conversations taking place?
He's hyperventilating this morning. Nandi, take us to sports, because we won't be able to bring him back in, to pull him.
We're not the only ones
himself.
having a little bit of a tense morning. AmaZulu coach Joseph Vuyo has been suspended after, he joined AmaZulu after in
Second
September.
coach in 2 days.
Yeah, exactly. And he joined AmaZulu in September and has only had one win since then. Between September and March, he's only had one win. So he's been suspended, which, isn't surprising, really, to use Cyril Ramaphosa's word. It isn't really surprising that he has been suspended. And now they're saying that Norman Mapeza, who resigned from Chippa United just yesterday, they're saying that he's in line to replace Vuyo. So that's all going to still unfold. But it's just the usual coaching merry-go-round that takes place in the world of football, really.
You know what I'm happy about?
What?
You're talking to us about football as opposed to cricket.
You were over the...
It's been a daily staple.
When I walked in the morning, I actually said to the producer, let's stay away from cricket for a little bit this morning.
All right, thank you, guys. Thank you very much for coming through. Vuyo, thanks indeed for making it so early. And Nandi, you and I...
Yes, I'll see you in a little bit.
Still to come.